Welcome. Welcome to Food and Fashion is My Passion. I'm your host, Angeliki Nakos. And today's episode is sponsored by Novastar Pharmacy. It's located at 301 East Girard Avenue in Philadelphia. It's the Fishtown area of the city. And they are open 7 days a week and free delivery. We're also sponsored by the Philly Food Fanatic with an F. And you can follow him on social media on Instagram, the Philly Food Fanatic with an F. So we are here today at the Borscht Belt in Newtown, PA, 2124 South Eagle Road. And we are here with the owners and chef, owner Michael Dalewitz and chef Nick Liberato. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Angie. It's good to see you again.
Great to see you too. I'm very excited. I have many questions, and I'm just going to kind of dive right into that. That's
Hit
okay?
me. Yeah,
All right.
Absolutely.
So I know Michael is an attorney. He's also an entrepreneur, and we'll be speaking with him shortly. And Nick, you are a celebrity chef. You had a Netflix show called Restaurants on the Edge, and you've traveled all over. You've also been on Bar Rescue. I know that. And so my question, I guess, right off the bat would be, how did this partnership begin?
Yeah. Well, for those of you who don't know, I was actually born and raised in this area, born in Doylestown, raised in the Yardley area. Pretty much started my career here, left here right around 98 to move to Los Angeles with big dreams, just like anyone else that moves to California. I had done a lot of acting and modeling when I was a kid, but always in the background. You know, I was always cooking. I was always watching my grandparents cook. I was always watching my father. And, I built quite a career for myself on the West Coast. And when it came time to come back east, after having kids and really living quite a life, I wanted to move back east to really bring home a lot of the things that I had experienced over the past 22 years and really bring a great concept home. This actually was not the concept I was bringing home, as I am Italian, I'm Catholic. Probably the last concept I ever thought I'd open would be a Jewish deli. But sometimes life sways you a different way. And in this case, I moved back in March of 2020, and it was the pandemic. So I initially had planned a full-scale restaurant with like a pre-prohibition style bar, Sicilian, really leaning into the Italian because that's my background. And during that time, you couldn't even stand within 6 feet of someone, let alone have a full-scale operating restaurant. So, I had been speaking to some other people, and Mike had just exited his last business and was really looking to break through and get involved with the restaurant business. He's got a big passion for food and hospitality. And we started kicking around some ideas, but, we were sitting 30 feet apart at out in Solbury, where his home is. And he's like, I'll be honest, Nick, I'd have to be an idiot to throw money at anything restaurant related right now. And I was like, well, I couldn't agree with you more, but, we should really talk about the things that we might be able to do. So we start talking about businesses that we could scale, something we could replicate, if Mike was putting his money into it. And then sure enough, we started, I was like, we started talking about the food that lasts the test of time. And it's like, we're talking Thai, Italian, Chinese, different things like that. And then sure enough, I think Mike had asked me if I had made bagels. And I was like, I made them in Costa Rica and Malibu, but by no means would I ever consider myself someone to be making bagels. And then we started talking about Jewish delis, and I was like, you like Jewish delis? He's like, yeah, I'm a Jewish guy from New York. Of course I like Jewish delis.
Oh, wow.
And then Mike and I went on a deli tour all throughout New York. We actually did it like once or twice, gained a lot of weight doing so.
I'm sure.
But really started picking out the things that work in a deli and the things that we'd want to, aesthetics that work and the menu. And, of course, like Mike and parts of my family that are Jewish and friends helping me out, because this wasn't necessarily a genre of food that I was raised with. I'd gone out to many Jewish delis growing up, a lot of my friends' homes for holidays, but it wasn't something that I was experiencing on a regular basis. But just like any other genre of food or country that I've traveled to, I'm like a chameleon. I'll immerse myself into the culture and really just pick it apart, every little part of it, and then start reading up on it, looking at the history of it, and figuring out how I could kind of make it our own. And the best way for me to do that was understanding, what really helped me was understanding where a lot of Jewish families had settled in the world, because with that, really allowed me to like, oh wow, there's Poland, there's Russia, there's Lithuania, there's Romania, there's even Asian. There's like the on Christmas Eve when I was eating the siete de amare, the 7 fish at my parents' house, my Jewish friends were out eating Chinese food, and I was like, I would like some pastrami fried rice. Well, actually, we just made pastrami fried rice, but I love Chinese food. But I love that marriage of Chinese food and Jewish people's love for Chinese food. So we've even started to dive into that a little bit here with our Szechuan chili crisp cream cheese, our pastrami fried rice, our corned beef Reuben egg rolls. We can go on and on by taking one ingredient with a particular dish and seeing how the two can marry together. So that was, that made it a lot of fun for us. And then, I always had Mike to lean on to and him be like, Nick, I know you never made this before, but it's not exactly the way it should be. Or, and I've certainly got my own amount of feedback in this place. There's always someone complaining about this or that. But, I take that as constructive feedback. I've been in this industry for 30 years, so I got thick skin, but I strive to create the best experience. So I always take on a challenge, because that's usually when I perform best, to create, the best dish. And I think this menu, what we've done since the beginning, we opened in June of 21, it's been an evolution, just like I've seen with every other concept I've been a part of. But I'm really proud of where our menu's at, where our team's at, where the brand is at, how much growth has been there, because that's just evolution. And you don't get anywhere unless you make mistakes. And it only makes you got to be better than the day before. And that's really been the kind of unwritten law for myself and how I go about my own things.
That's great. Wonderful. So how did you guys come up with the idea? By the way, I just want to say, I think I hear a bell, ding, ding, ding. It's the Greek word of the day, which is ιδέα, which is idea. It's the concept. So you explained that to us, but how did you come up with the name?
The name was interesting. When Mike and I were sitting across from each other, and it's funny. It's like yesterday, because it was the pandemic, and we were just didn't know what to expect. And I was saying to Mike, hey, listen, this is going to blow by. He's like, Nick, I don't know about this. It's going to last a while. But, we've gone through those deli tours, and we were sitting in his backyard, I think, after we had come back from the one. And I was like, listen, Mike, I need a vehicle. I need something we can market and brand behind this. He's like, I hear you. And I remember he said Pumpernicks. I was like, no, there's a place called Pumpernicks already. Yes, but clearly it would work well with my name being Nick. And we kicked around a few ideas. And when you look at someone and you could literally like see the light bulb pop above their head. And that's exactly what I saw in Mike. He goes, have you ever heard of the Borscht Belt? And I said, I've never heard of the Borscht Belt before. And he goes, and I immediately pulled out my phone. I start Googling it. He goes, like, Dirty Dancing. Have you seen Dirty Dancing? I was like, yeah, of course I've seen, don't put baby in the corner kind of thing. He's like, well, that was it. It was an area with like hotels and where a lot of comedians got their start, and for a very reasonable price.
That's the Catskills, right?
In the Catskills, and you would get your show, your 3 meals a day, and your place to stay. I'm looking through. I was like, oh, yeah, I totally get it. But in my mind, I'm seeing the Borscht Belt, and I'm seeing the font, and I'm already questioning a few things. But I've also like that I've never seen it before, or that it's not in the mainstream media right now. And I'm like, this actually could be really cool. I'm seeing it in my mind, but I'm seeing it in the font of the Beverly Hills Hotel. Because I lived in Los Angeles for 22 years, and I always loved it's called Grand Hotel font. And I'm like, I really liked the way it looked. And then we had a graphic designer do it up for us, and Mike and I looked at each other and were like, I think this is it. This looks and feels right. So it was like a slow roll and like the evolution of things. But one thing just kept after another. Like there would be a day Mike would come in from New York, trip to New York, and be like, hey, you got to try a few things. But a few things for Mike would be 4 tables full of food and us eating every little thing. But that's R&D. It's like you're not going to have successful business unless you have a lot of passion behind it. So you'd want, we went through a lot of trial and error of I was actually cooking at Mike's house in New Hope because we didn't have a destination, a kitchen to do it in. And we were putting up like how you see the black tile behind me. We had billboard that was fake black tile that we were putting behind our food shots just to kind of show what people would be seeing in the future. So we were doing whatever we could to create the social media buzz, to get the cooking going. And, but once we got going with stuff, everything kind of started tying in. And then after that, we start simplifying things. And
so what are some of your signature dishes? In other words, like can you name me a couple of dishes that only we can find here in your deli?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like our kimchi Reuben is very popular. Our Phyllis Diller, which is now on our menu, is called the brisket cheesesteak. I mean, a brisket cheesesteak, you can't go wrong. I mean, I'm always a big fan of the food reflecting on the environment. And I mean, we're in the Philadelphia suburbs, so you got to have a cheesesteak. And our brisket is excellent, and you want to always make sure you have the au jus to like dip it in. Our Borscht Belt breakfast sandwich, which comes on hollow rolls. All of our bread comes from Rockland Bakery up in New York, and all of our bagels come from Essa Bagel in New York City.
Oh my God, the bagels are so good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I tasted your bagels. I had the pleasure of tasting a lot of your food, and the bagels are unbelievable. I said to John, like, I thought I was in New York.
You and John had a good experience here when
we
you guys
really
came
did.
in.
We had some those fabulous dishes, but the bagels were incredible.
Yeah, and they're par baked, so you're getting a New York bagel here, and I think that was something that was really important. And crazy enough, Mike had like worked with the owner of Essa Bagel a while back, so that was essentially kind of what put us in touch with them. And we were originally, I was making bagels up in New York with Shelsky's, who was like a consulting partner of ours. Because, as I said, I didn't grow up with this genre of food, but I went up to Shelsky's and I was working in their Jewish deli for a while. I would go up there, I would be making the gravlax, I'd be baking the bagels, I was making the chopped liver, I was making the whitefish, the pickled herring, all these different things that I had never done before. But I was loving it, and then I was adding additional techniques to it of things that I had learned throughout my career. And we put little spins on everything we brought back here. But yeah, everything from the fish sandwiches to our breakfast sandwiches, lunch, the Phyllis Diller. We had done a banh mitzvah for some time, which was our play on a banh mi sandwich. It was the banh mitzvah. I love the name of that. And, our babka bread, our arugula, the black and whites, all of our appetizing from chopped liver, whitefish, cucumber salad, egg, tuna, chicken. And we're constantly evolving to always kind of uphold our integrity. I mean, right now we're making donuts in the kitchen because sufganiyot is big during Hanukkah, among other things like latkes. But we're always trying to, push the experience a little bit more. Never bring anything like pre-made in. There are a few things, but we can't do everything. Our babka bread comes from a pretty well-known baker up in New York City that relocates to the Catskills. It's a Hasidic bakery that's been around for upwards of 100 years. But you're only as good as your ingredients, Angie. And that goes with like anything in life. So when you have great ingredients, you're always going to be able to execute a great dish.
Yes. Now, speaking of ingredients, I've had your matzo ball soup, and it is incredible. What is your secret to making the perfect matzo ball soup?
I think when we're making the matzo balls, to make sure that we are putting schmaltz into the matzo balls, which usually comes from our previous stock. And the schmaltz, for any of you that don't know, it's Jewish gold. So it's what rises to the top when you make your chicken stock, it's all the fat that separates. But you can incorporate that into your latkes, your matzo ball soup. I've even made a chicken parmesan with it, where I made a Jewish style chicken parmesan. But when we make our chicken stock, it's an 8-hour stock. We use both feet and backs, and that I think really creates a lot of the adds the fat to that stock, that flavor. You have bay leaves, you have carrot, celery, onions, some garlic, and just doing the stock for a long amount of time and straining it, and then we have our matzo balls, and
fabulous.
A lot of love and consistency.
Fabulous. So good. So good. So do you feel that your deli, your restaurant deli, serves as a hub for the local Jewish community?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're really well connected with a lot of the local synagogues. I mean, my 3 daughters went to Shirami right around the corner. So we've been very connected with them for quite a while, as well as Mike's kids went there. But yeah, we have platters for just about every occasion, from a bat or bar mitzvah to a shiva to any event in between. And as I've tried a lot of items that I think require an older, more experienced palate, and when I say that, I mean sturgeon or sable or pickled herring or tongue or things like that. These are all things that I had on the menu, and some people might be like, that sounds absolutely disgusting. But when you're in New York City and you're going to a lot of delis, those things sell great, but that's also a culture and a demographic where that's much more known all the time. For this area, I think there's different upbringings, or when it's around you a little bit more, you're certainly subjected to it a lot more. But if it's not making sense for us money-wise, it's not going to make sense, and it's not showing on our P&L reports, it's not going to make sense for the business.
Gotcha. So with that being said, what is the most underrated item on your menu? In other words, what would you say that you wish people would just try?
Yeah, that's a great question. No one's ever asked me that. I like that question. Well, I think our whitefish sells very well. But I think I wish they would have tried the baked salmon that much more, which we make from our kippered salmon. And I took that off the menu. I think it really goes back to a lot of things I kind of already just said, things that have already made its way off the menu. The Bon Mitzvah, for instance. I would have liked to have seen that sold more. I thought it was a very creative sandwich with a sambal chili aioli. Your chicken pate, our chopped liver took place of that.
Chopped liver pate, that was unbelievable. It literally melts in your mouth. It's so creamy. It tastes so good. And that's something I would never have tried.
And I think more people have got to try it, because, listen, I understand you hear chopped liver and that's something where people are like,
I was like, what?
That sounds disgusting. But when I describe the process of it, hey, we're actually searing the livers in the schmaltz with some salt and pepper, get a good char, or fond, I like to call it. And when you have that fond, when you see that char, that's flavor. You pull those out, you caramelize your onions, you then deglaze with brandy, let all that cool down, and then you add in your hard-boiled eggs, and you're good to go, and you have a beautiful chopped liver from there.
It was delicious. It was delicious. So, John is gluten-free. He's got a gluten allergy.
I remember.
Yeah.
When I always ask every one of my guests if you have any allergies or restrictions.
Yeah. So how do you handle the dietary restrictions?
Well, one, anyone that's celiac or has any other type of allergy or restriction, I want to accommodate, because I want to make sure that guest has the best experience. We've gone through quite a few different versions of gluten-free bagels and bread here, but I feel very confident with the one that we have, only because I've gotten such great feedback from people that are gluten-free, but also as myself, I've tasted a lot, and I think the aeration and the flavor and the texture of these particular bagels, they're called Sunshine Bagels. They're from California. They also do bread. They're excellent. And everyone that's gluten-free that's tried it not only loves to have it in-house, but they also bring it home. And we're very careful about the surfaces that we're putting everything on, and it just so we don't have any cross-contamination.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what is your favorite dish?
My favorite dish, I love our turkey Reuben. The turkey is something that I feel, I mean, it is one of our best sellers, but, we're roasting it over carrot, celery, onions, our chicken stock, probably like a 4-spice blend, roasting the breasts in the oven. But I just love our Riesling braised sauerkraut. I love a nice buttery toasted piece of rye bread, Russian dressing, melted Swiss, thinly
great.
sliced turkey, and having a little bit of like turkey gravy on the side to dip it in. That's just comfort food for me. My other go-to is, I also love the bagels. I'll do like a
So
whole
good.
wheat, everything Essa bagel with scallion cream cheese. Oh, no, with horseradish cream cheese, some jalapeno, some red onion, pastrami smoked salmon. I always like freestyle it. But usually when I'm freestyling sandwiches like that, they usually become items on our menu. Like our Don Rickles that's on the menu. It's a roast beef sandwich. Everyone loves
I love
that.
the way you guys name the sandwiches after
Yeah,
the celebrities. It's great.
Yeah, after like celebrities, comedians, things, people that got their starts in the Borscht Belt. But it all ties into the brand because, as I said earlier, Angie, this is a business that we're hoping to scale and replicate. Maybe not on this level that you're seeing in here. I think this will always be the flagship space, but you have to simplify the concept to be a little bit more QSR, quick service restaurant, to be able to work whether it's in an airport or in Salt Lake City or in Florida. And if we are creating a bigger model like this, I think also a commissary would have to be created. If we open, let's say, a cluster of 4 stores, a commissary would have to be created where it then distributes a lot of that appetizing, possibly big bolts of pastrami and corned beef and other things, so that particular space doesn't have to take on a certain amount of square footage, and it's a little less overhead for the operator.
So what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of running a deli as opposed to and the hardest part? I mean, it's like I said before, and I spoke about this on my first episode. People think it's easy to run a restaurant. It's not. There's so many different factors that go into play. Can you talk a little bit about that?
The people that think the restaurant, bar, or deli is interesting, you'll probably find yourself on the next episode of Bar Rescue.
Yes, exactly.
Because
they have no idea.
That always blows me away. I mean, listen, again, all the experience I have and any money I've had behind me at different points in my career, it's just like, it's always challenging. But I think the challenging part is really how you set your own bar, how passionate you are, and what kind of integrity and driver you put in your business. If you're not challenging yourself, you're never going to be coming out with something that's going to really wow people. I like to challenge myself on a regular basis. And I think the hardest part for me in this particular business has been not being part of the deli business for me. I'm a restaurant guy. Full-scale restaurants, liquor license. I come to your table. Or my servers will come to the table. Hey, this are our specials of the day. What type of water would you like to have? I'll be back in a few moments for you. In the deli business, it's like I want to have my food yesterday. I wasn't prepared for that, as I've never worked in a deli before. But I wanted to, I liked the challenge, but I'll be honest, I was hit upside the face when we first opened this place. I think I was so stressed out, I had like a sty on my eye my first week, because I wasn't prepared for the pace of a deli business. I've opened up many concepts in the past, and have certainly had my rushes of 300 covers and 400, whatever it might be. I've been challenged every which way, but the deli business is very different. So for me, other than taking on a new genre of food, those were the most challenging things for me, on top of the amount of people complaining. But we'll talk about that on another note. The most rewarding part of this is I think, folks like you and John coming in and showing how grateful they are for the experience that they were able to get in the business. And that was just genuine. All the guests that keep coming back and bringing in new people, family and friends, and people that give us shout outs online. I'm so appreciative of that. I care so much because let's not forget, when someone cooks you a meal, it's coming from their heart, and when I'm cooking for someone or my team's cooking for someone, I tell them to always imagine they're cooking for their own mother. Unless they hate their mother, pretend you're cooking for someone else.
Right.
But that is the best thing that we could do, because we're cooking love. We want to make sure when they come in, that they're coming back. But we're also giving them, we're opening the doors like it's home. And I think another challenging part, which isn't really is I hate Yelp reviews, and I hate people that try to ruin the optics or the revenue of a business. So it's I appreciate if someone has a bad experience. Maybe we can't always do things perfect. Come in and let me know. Sure, I'm going to make it right. I'm going to invite you back in, but don't go on there with your little cupcake hands and try to make up some story that's not real.
No, I agree 100%.
And and it's just I'm not a fan unless I can review your business. You let me know what business you have. I would love to then come in your business and review your business. That would be great.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you said you like to be challenged, right?
I love someone to put something in front of me and be like, do you think you can do this? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, but give me a shot. I would love to try. So
what are some of the new dishes that you have? I did see some new items on the menu. So.
Yeah, we just launched our new hours, which are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.,
Wow.
7 days a week.
Ooh.
So we're open from 7 to 7 days a week. And we wanted, as there may be some mornings that are a little light, we have an awesome breakfast menu, from Lacca Benedicts to our Leo omelet to all the Essa bagels and everything else in between, our breakfast sandwich. Plenty of things to kind of drive people in here. I know you and John had the plateau. It
was absolutely fabulous. We had a whole tower. We tasted so many different things. It was wonderful.
But we also wanted to drive more nighttime business. And as we always urge people, to feel free to bring in whatever wine or beer that you'd like to bring in at night. I did put in a brisket dinner, a new chopped salad, the kimchi Reuben, and some new soups, mushroom and barley, brisket and cabbage, just to kind of that hearty comfort food that's going to be great for a cold winter night.
Okay, Michael, you
Hello.
are an attorney and an entrepreneur. And you are Jewish, is that correct?
I am an attorney entrepreneur that is a tribesman. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
So my question to you is, being Jewish, do you have any family recipes that are passed down through generations that you use today in your restaurant?
So a lot of the legacy of my family was not on the cooking side. Don't tell my mother that. Grandma was okay, but don't tell my mother that. Oh my God, we're on the podcast. Mom, sorry, apologize, love you. Anyway, to go back to your question, one important aspect actually, and it has a lot of history to it. My great-grandfather, Louis Willinger. So my great-grandfather, backtrack a little bit. You bet syrup, right? One of the base important ingredients of an egg cream, right? It was developed in 1900, and then in Brooklyn in the mid-teens were the first egg creams ever created. Legend stories say the reason why the egg cream, how it got its name, there were Jewish immigrants with accents over there, and they'd go to the corner store and they'd say, "I want a cream soda." So a cream soda being egg cream over there. That was one way of looking at it. And the other legend was the top of the egg cream looked like the froth of like an egg white and the froth of it. So the egg cream soda. It's a little background, but my great-grandfather's store was Lewis's Luncheonette on 92nd and Rutland Road in Brooklyn in the 19-teens. Legend has it he was the second ever shop to ever do an egg cream. And the glasses, and so I was boot camp trained as a kid on how to make proper egg creams, no matter what you had, if you had the siphon, if you had a bottle, if you had, coming out there, what are the proper techniques in order to get the real good fluff, the great flavor, the balance, everything you want for a perfect egg cream. So our glasses that we have over here in the store, and it was the first thing, and somehow I became the egg cream guy of the Borscht Belt. So Nick's always on camera doing the food and everything else, and I get to do the egg cream stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I've had it. It's
And-
great. I've had that drink.
Oh, it's special to me, and talk to guests about this story because it's like really personal. And we have the lines exactly where we put the syrup in, the milk there, and the seltzer. And I'm going to give you the recipe because it's very easy but very difficult in some ways. Just like drinks like Negronis and stuff like that. 3 ingredients, but you can get them really wrong, right? It matters the volume of each one you're putting on, which is your syrups, chocolate, vanilla, sometimes strawberry if people go that direction, your milk and your seltzer, right? And the milk needs to be ice cold. You need enough chocolate in there. You need the great carbonation on the seltzer, and if you're not getting that siphon or tap, great trick, use the back of your spoon to get a little bit more of that fuzz going in there. And then when you're stirring it around, it's the tiny little like spins and turns to get that emulsification going and really get that perfect head. And you're like, and it's okay to overflow it and have it there. That's the fun of an egg cream. Let it overflow a little bit. Then you come out and it's just an amazing treat. And oddly enough, you know, you think of like Jewish deli. I mean, we're like Jewish. You know, we have all your baselines that we honor the traditions. Nick has taken great Top Chef liberties of approach to make it more of a designer deli, kind of meant for foodies, for families, for anyone that wants to come in and look back as, you know, either that delicious nostalgia or as Nick always says, a modern spin on the classics, right? And so one thing the egg cream is, that's one of the classics. And no matter what, you know, you have here, your pastrami sandwich, your this or that, the egg cream to wash it down. If it's not a Dr. Brown's, the egg cream is that like iconic New York, you know, Brooklyn staple, and it goes perfectly. Like it's great.
Yes, I definitely recommend that to all first-time visitors.
Also, you know, for people that aren't local here to get that experience, we ship egg cream kits nationally. So it's a great gift for the holidays that you can go on either Goldbelly, or if you're local, you can, you know, get it on our website over here. And right now, for the holidays, it's great because all through the month of December, we have a 25% gift card, off gift card code if you want. So we're discounting sort of all these gifts for the holidays that you can get. When you go online, it's you could use GC25 or GC Holiday 25, and that will get you your gift card, and you can purchase it from there and ship it out that way.
That's great. So we asked Nick the question of what his favorite dish is on the menu, and I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite dish on the menu and why?
Ooh, tough one, right? Mm-hmm. I am, there's certain things that like get to me, like if I'm in the fish mood, right? I love the Pines sandwich, which is toasted caraway rye, pastrami smoked salmon, shaved red onion, honey mustard, horseradish cream cheese. It's just an amazing bite. And the reason we call it the Pines is that my family managed the Pines Hotel, so the sandwich I like the most, I wanted to you know, get that in there. I would say on the, you know, I'm a huge, you know, Reuben pastrami guy and all that, but when we started putting some new menu items that we put on, my new favorite on the meats is probably the kimchi chopped Reuben. So it's another like spin on there, but the bite is fantastic. And our brisket is just legendary, and anything with the brisket, anything you could do with the brisket. I love lately the hollow grilled cheese with brisket and caramelized onions. That's been like a go-to for me. You know, my kids, they love, you know, our pizza bagels are popular. Like you got a great Essa
kids would
bagel.
love those too.
You got an Italian chef, you got an Essa bagel. How can you go wrong?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the perfect
absolutely.
marriage over here, you know? So, you know, it's been,
You like the pastrami fried rice?
the pastrami fried rice.
That's not on the menu.
It's not on the menu, but it's been
so that's like a secret item, right?
comes
Something
out
that's not on the
special.
menu.
and you know, this has been very special. I mean, Nick and I, you know, we met February 14th, 2020,
Valentine's Day. Look at that. That's a love relationship right there.
I was running my restaurants on the West Coast, and Mike was here. And I remember speaking to him that night.
Wow.
It was love at first bite, and then
Introduced by a
Rabbi Eric Goldberg from Shirami. You know, had this. You know, I had sold my companies. I was looking to get into hospitality. Everyone's like, you're crazy. I'm like, I know, but I'm still looking to do this. And, our original concept didn't work because the pandemic. We looked for something scalable. We looked for something franchisable, which we are doing right now. We're in the middle of our FDDs
fabulous.
for franchise and opening up our our third location, but our second current one in a couple weeks at the Trenton Farmers Market.
Oh, great.
So that will be a
Congratulations.
nice
Wonderful.
market model in Mercer County to get a taste of the Borscht Belt. And it's an amazing year. 2025 is going to be really cool, by the way, for us. We've had our ups and downs. We've had battles with anti-Semitism, throughout. We've had some hurdles that we had to deal with, with bureaucracies and all that. But 2025...
Cultural appropriation. People not thinking an Italian guy should be cooking Jewish food.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yes.
But 2025 right now is the year of the Borscht Belt. It's almost like the Chinese New Year. You get the year of the tiger.
Year of the Borscht Belt.
It's the year of the Borscht Belt. We have a couple great things happening. I'm also on the board of the Borscht Belt Museum, which is amazing to really reconnect with some other iconic people and families that have been part of the Borscht Belt. I mentioned the Pines. My family also owned the Red Apple Rest, the Irvington Hotel in South Forestburg. My wife's family managed the Pines. Her best friends were the Fallsview and the Nevele. Everyone has these great stories, and we've been able to come very close with the Grossinger family. And with that, it's the year of the Borscht Belt. Dirty Dancing 2 is coming out, which is amazing. Jennifer Grey is going to be in that, so it's a movie not to be missed after all this time. Lionsgate also decided to buy all the rights to Dirty Dancing the musical, which will be coming out in 2025. We're in the middle of producing a play when the Borscht Belt also will be the food associated with it in New York City, Saturday night at Grossinger's. So that's going to be like an interactive Tony and Tina's wedding type show over there. We're launching with our partners, Straits Matzah, and the team behind the Grossinger's documentary that's supposed to be at Sundance in February. We're going to be launching new product lines. Grossinger's Rye Matzah will be the first one. We have some of our products that people love that we're going to be putting out there, especially our applesauce and our mint sauce. So just your best for your latkes and over there. And it pairs well with Straits Matzah's ideas. Them as a partner is amazing because they're just very experienced in the food world. And even though we're starting in that kind of kosher genre, we really want this to be accessible to everyone. So we're working on a new wine concept with Old York Vineyards in Ringo's, New Jersey, and bringing back some really cool, hipper Manischewitz, we'll call it, or other great wines. So there's a lot of stuff between product development, between expansion and things we're doing, and just new recipe development by Nick, which has been really cool to see some items on the new menu, expansions of dinners and hours. The serving the community, is really what we've been all about. This is a community place. We built it for that, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to bring a little bit of taste of New York and the best of this combined with the best of Nick. But really, it's a place where you come in here, you see so many families and kids. See we're going to be doing more kids activities throughout, more comedy shows, more special events. But really, you come in here and it's foodies, it's families.
It is. It has a great vibe. And now you guys extended the hours, which is great, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So with that being said, what does your day typically look like? I mean, you guys have a lot going on.
That's a loaded question.
What is a typical day in the deli restaurant business look like for you guys?
For me, as someone who's an owner investor, it's a challenging industry. No matter how well you do, perceived to do, or the love and the critics and what you get over there, it's someone I've built many businesses to exit, and this is one. We're on trajectory now to do that, but the path, much more difficult than I ever imagined. It's the restaurant business is low margins. You're dealing with a lot of outside forces that
yes, absolutely.
Whether it could be weather or this or that, no matter
even the
what.
food costs going up and everything.
Food costs
right?
going up.
positions
Yes.
like a revolving door, in the restaurant business. That just
Absolutely.
happens.
And you need to have tough skin. You need to listen. Nick and I, we kind of we met as strangers. We came this like, functional, dysfunctional kind of like family. The way we run this, our families are partners in this establishment, and when you have that, you rise like families, you celebrate like families, but you fight like families sometimes,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And it's those times where no matter how tough it is, right? How you make it out, and how like no matter what happens, you get to sit at an amazing podcast on a Monday and like smile and laugh and reflect and be
Thank
like,
you. Yeah. Yeah.
lament or things we could have done better. Both of us right now, I think, are really blessed. We have a new amazing general manager, Brandon, who's just in a short period of time, just 180 did so many things that we needed to get done, and 360 things that needed to go back to where it was in the beginning. He's been a good part of that, so we're really pleased to have him on the team. And we have a handful of original members that have been with us since the beginning of this opening, and it's been almost 2 years, which is great. Obviously, as Nick said, there's some rotation and all of that, but this is the Borscht Belt family. This is when you come here, everyone here is mishpucha. We're all family, right? And we're not perfect, right? We have our same trials and tribulations. There's a Yiddish expression, men's trot and good luck, good lot. And it's man plans, God laughs. And, sometimes things happen. Schwitz happens.
Yes, absolutely. But as you still feel it, your family and, this being a team is what inspires you to keep going. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's our kids. I mean, if you look at like our kids, they're coming out. Nick's kids, they're a little younger, but they're helping bag the pickles and doing like other like cool tasks.
That's
the plates.
great.
My kids will come in and they get yelled at. They got yelled at, so they had to stop doing it. But they were
taking orders at the table.
tables.
That's
They're
wonderful.
cute.
That's great.
They're little girls.
Cashier
That's
orders
great.
at
But
the
then what
Everybody's
table.
happened was
involved.
when we first, they're little girls. They were trying. They got great work ethics, obviously. But the one table goes, I still haven't gotten my food, which we can laugh about now. But I think that's important. I think for anyone that has children or you're in the restaurant business, I mean, this sacrifices a lot of your time that you have with your family. And anywhere where you can incorporate that a little bit into your business, it's always great. But at the same time, regardless of where anyone's going on their life path, I think working in hospitality in your younger years is actually a really great place to understand people, how to problem solve, how to deal with different situations, how to delegate, camaraderie with the team, all that good stuff. And you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could do whatever you want from there. You could be the president of the United States, but it's like you're going to instill some values with wherever you're going to go.
Yes.
For what you learn in this business, because everyone eats.
That's right.
And anyone can come here. And the greatest part why I'm in this business, I mean, other than some great experiences when I was younger, watching my family eat and seeing how happy everyone is, food is what brings us all together. And
Absolutely.
the great thing about this business is everyone is welcome at the table here. All politics, religion, and everything else goes out the door. And everyone can come here and just enjoy some great food, laugh, have a great time, and enjoy themselves.
Very great place. Thank you for that. And if you could thank one person, let's say, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be difficult to thank one person. You get a lot of help when you open an establishment like this. But if you could thank one person for helping you succeed in this business, who would that be?
And the Borscht Belt in particular?
Yes. And
I mean, I'd have to thank Mike because I couldn't do it without him. I mean, I really would. I wouldn't. In a time where I came back from California and we were hitting a unprecedented time, you'd have to be absolutely crazy person to put money towards a concept. And Mike was that guy for me. But he saw a vision. He understood hospitality. But I would thank Mike because no one else was there for me but Mike.
How about you, Mike?
Likewise, I'd thank Nick. I came in a little bit late. I heard Nick telling his stories about our deli runs and before then and whatnot. But what really happened, like even before then, all the test cooking, everything else, we came in as strangers, and in the pandemic, in the beginning of the pandemic, when no one could be around anyone, right? Number one, this, like I said, this wasn't our first concept. We had a tri-level seafood restaurant on the water, Italy, procured place. Pandemic hit, we had to go to Plan B, right? And Plan B was, if we're going to do this, we need to spend a lot of time together, which meant like when we weren't seeing anyone and his family wasn't seeing anyone because of the pandemic, people kind of like moved in together, isolated together. That's how we.
I was cooking at his house.
It was at my house. All the recipe development, all the initial film shots, all the.
I mentioned how we had the fake backdrop,
fake walls, and all that.
Fake walls to what we knew our place was going to look like, but we wanted the pictures of the food behind, in front of it.
You talk about grassroots, right? And you talk about all the difficulties just to get it launched, and it wouldn't have been possible, if we just didn't have, in some ways, blind trust or faith, or just an area to say, hey, I trust you. You're there. We came together for a reason. Our kids love each other. I mean, it became my first holidays in my house that I ever had, and it was a new house. I was under construction, and I moved in, and he was there for all that. And our first meals and holidays always included his family at the table, and it was an interesting way to go about finding a business partnership, which it was originally starting off as, and turning into something totally different, which again, it has its pluses and minuses. On the minus side, like I said, we're gonna, we'll fight like brothers more than like business partners, right? Sometimes, and really state our positions and get passionate, because both of us are passionate people, but it's all for the good of what we want to create, that experience for for the community, for our people, for our families, for our legacy. And we truly believe that, this concept deserves its time, all over the nation. We believe this is a perfect fit and time to have this genre of food and this spin on this genre of food, at various different areas across that could recognize it. So,
that's wonderful.
Gotta say, Nick,
wonderful
on that
partnership.
One too.
Congratulations on your success. And this is a food and fashion podcast. So lastly, I would like to ask you one more question.
What we're wearing?
Actually,
No, I'm just kidding.
yes.
No,
So
really?
who is your favorite designer?
Oh, Mike, go ahead. You go first.
My favorite designer. Okay, so I am. I'm kind of more a little bit out there when I go out dressed. The one thing Nick and I have in common, you'll see in a lot of pictures from us over the years. Maybe it's because we shared the same barber.
Maybe it's the hats. I was going to say.
Our accessories and hats and just things we wear in general. I don't, for me, I wind up, I have, if I'm in the city, I got a great big, hat on. I got some jewelry from King Baby. I got a Jean Varvatos, rock and roll fur kind of coat
There you
out
go.
there.
So you get that street style look going. Yeah, that's great.
I got the, some cool glasses. But for me, it's just I accessorize. But as you see, for me, I'm wearing a flannel and sweatpants and shoes right now. So I'm not I used to be, when I was the lawyer, the three-piece suit guy, always to the nines. Changed my way, and I kind of just I freeform. I like to be comfortable, and when I'm there, I'm kind of
It's really in style right now.
Yeah.
The street style look. We were just talking about that last episode. It's really in, and it's all about comfort, right? Comfort.
Yeah.
If he doesn't say Vans at all, I'm going to be very disappointed. By the way.
I do. I mean, I've always been a surfer, snowboarder, skateboarder my entire life.
Wow.
Although I can clean up pretty well when it comes time, but I do wear Vans quite a bit.
All right.
Always. I've been wearing them since I was a kid. And as a chef, it's
you're on your feet all day, right?
As much as I would like to dress really nice, and I do my best, I'm usually throwing an apron on, and at any point I'm gonna probably have a burn on my arm or a splash of something on me.
Yeah, I remember those days.
So it keeps me from the nicer things I wear, but I'm a t-shirt, jeans kind of guy. I do wear beads, and that's the hippie in me. And
Well, you guys look wonderful. You guys look great, and yeah, I thank you so much for being on our show today. Thank you so much for your time. Everyone, this is the Borscht Belt in Newtown, PA. It is 2124 South Eagle Road. Please come out, and if you're going to come out here the first time, you got to try the drink. You got to try the cream. What do you call it here?
Egg cream.
Egg cream, yeah. You have to try it. It's great. And I also wanted to say thank you to our viewers and our listeners for following us. We're really getting a lot of feedback, and we just want to thank you very much for following us and watching us. Yasas and Filaikia. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.